What is up, cupcakes? How are we doing tonight? Cheers and clinkies. Hey, Nan, what's up, Frank? How you guys doing? Dragonfire, you made it on time. What's going on? What am I doing with this laser? I don't know what I'm doing with my lasers, man. So welcome to the club. Welcome to Laser Nation. All right, guys, I'm assuming everybody can hear me all right. I'm going to, without further ado, I'm going to bring on John from Tripod's Garage. He's joining me tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the old 40 watts and whatever else we want to talk about. But I figured we would kind of address that and let me bring John on and let him introduce himself. What
Clank,
is up,
Clank.
John?
I brought some water, buddy.
Clanky's brother.
Clank, Clank. Let me
There you go. Oh, it's crack it too. Crack
it, man.
Very nice.
There we go, man. And that wasn't even planned. So I just
Not at all.
actually I did have the beer ahead of me. I'm like, but the day I had at work, man, for the last couple of days, I needed it.
I've got 6-year-old twins. That's all.
Yeah, they're cute
that's
kids,
my
man.
excuse all the time.
Yeah. My kids are now so non-fam. I've known him for a long time, and it goes by. It stands for, I believe, non-famous. So yeah, and my those are my bear and then Oreo. So those are my kids right now. So because I have an 18-year-old and a 20 almost and then a 24-year-old.
Oh geez, yeah. See, we got started late, so
Yeah.
The doc told us we couldn't have children, so we just kind of did our old thing for a while. And I was getting ready to buy a boat, and one day,
Hey, well, one day it happened to me too. So
I'm like, I'm literally watching like my fraternity brothers and like people from high school and stuff like that. Like their kids are like in college, and I'm like, my kids, like, I just got done potty training them.
Hey, Dan is here. He's a Mr. 3D printer. He's on the Twitches.
Oh, so on the Twitches, very nice.
And the Twitches, I tried to Twitch once in a while.
I'm trying to figure a good angle for Twitch. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, either have I. So I'm until the garage is done. Anyways, I'm Tripod from Tripod's Garage. I'm a one-legged guy that tries to inspire other bipeds in their lives to try to.
Oh, hey. Sorry, man.
I was like, what? I'm like, you're a little bit more offensive than me.
There we go. Okay. All right. I was trying to put you up in the middle and let you talk.
Anyways, I'm John, Tripod's Garage. Guy with one leg that just does a whole bunch of stuff or pretends to. And I do anything from, I 3D printing, fixing cars, whatever, and dogs running in around. And I just also got into lasers. I have probably just as many lasers or maybe less than Nick, but I have like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 diodes. And over there, that's my, let me switch the camera. Oh, that's a 3D printer. And over there, I know it looks like a mess, but it's kind of a organized mess. Is I got 2 fiber lasers and a CNC plasma machine.
Very nice. What fibers are you running?
I have a 100-watt Omtech and the 20-watt Com Marker. So
yeah. I know a lot of my guys are like ask a lot about fibers, and I have never really. The only thing I have is that 2-watt
Mr. Carve.
Yeah,
I backed that on Kickstarter.
Which one do you like better?
What,
100 watt or the 20 watt?
What'd you say, the 20 watt or the 10 watt?
The 20 watt or the 100 watt? Didn't you say
100 definitely watt? Definitely the 100 watt. Come on, man. Right. It's something like watching metal just disintegrate. So, man.
But I mean, so like as far as ease of use, like if you didn't know anything about lasers and all you wanted to do was mark metal, because this is what I get a lot. Is like, I just want to do, like, a lot of people want to do like gun parts, or they have something else. Gun parts is a big one, or challenge coins a lot of times. Would you say like 20 watt is the way to like get into that, or would you say?
Well, yeah, 20 watt. It's so basically it will just take you more passes to complete. okay, everyone out there, a diode, a 455 nanometer diode gantry laser will not engrave metal. End of story.
Right.
You're marking it. That's it. You're not. If you want to dig into metal, you gotta get a fiber laser, 1064 nanometer. Fiber lasers means that it's a bunch of pump lasers going into a fiber path and out into the gavel head. That's basically what a fiber laser is. So,
So
uh,
at what point would you say that you are actually engraving enough to where you can feel it into the metal with a fiber laser? Or like,
typically in just a pass, depends on how fast you go. So people here are most likely very familiar, right? And of course, the slower you go, the deeper it'll go,
right.
and the more power. So it's the same thing with a fiber laser. So, but what the benefits you have with the fiber laser is frequency
Right.
and hatches with the gavel. So I know that you mess around with the gavel on your Mr. Carve. It's very similar. Mr. Carve is that diode that's in there is basically what's on the IR for the X tool. It's the same thing. It's a 2 watt.
Right.
So but it's in with the gavel head. But with the Mr. Carve, you can actually do frequencies with it with their CCAD software, which is very similar to
Like EasyCAD and
EasyCAD. Thank you.
yeah.
And so I recently switched to Gavel Lightburn because EasyCAD crashes with multiple layers. So if you are working with a Lightburn and you're doing layers and a couple different passes, different powers, and so if you get a pretty complex design on there, yeah, EasyCAD has a major memory leak issue. So and Lightburn actually solves that. And if you're familiar with Lightburn, we got that ease of use compared to EasyCAD.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but what is okay, so you're paying for like you've got your diode uh license and then you've got your CO2 license. What is the Galvo or the fiber
I
license?
think it's still like an $80 license, 80
Is
or
it
90. Yeah, it's a
so it's
separate
an
license.
additional 80 or 90 on whatever you're doing?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I went to launch my Lightburn, and it was like, "Oh, you need to renew it for $30." I thought it was a lifetime license. I didn't know that was.
I got that too, and I was like, so I have two. Let's see, I have two diode licenses because I've got them. I've got on 4 computers, and I've got one CO2
Mm.
license, and I got that same thing, and I thought it was lifetime too, and
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. I know that I've had Lightburn longer than a year, and at least I thought I did. And I'm like,
yeah,
wait a minute. I know it's only $30, but
but is it gonna be
I think
$30
I'll
a
just go through my
year?
original contract purchase and see what it says.
I know, right? Well,
It
I
is
was wondering
lifetime. You
too
have to
because
renew to get the newest update. Oh, it's still then that's not. It's lifetime with the
right,
serialized key, and if you don't, yeah, I'm okay. It's kind of a gotcha there, right?
that's horseshit.
It is.
Hey, real quick, Dave asked what plasma cutter is that?
Okay, so the plasma cutter. Let me get this camera down here. It's a document camera for. It's not great for long range. So back there, that is a prime weld cut 60. It's a 60 amp. It could do up to almost an inch of steel, and that is an Archeroid plasma CNC. It actually runs off of a Marlin fork, a fork of Marlin, and that's a Oreo right there.
Nice.
So she doesn't come with it, but yeah. So that's a. I've always been wanting to get into more metal fabrication. Give me a second. I'll get the. Let me get the plasma sign that I cut. After I destroy everything.
So funny story. Tripod only has one leg. I always thought he was Tripod's garage because he had a huge unit until today. I just found out.
two, yeah, two sticks and a leg tripod.
Yeah, exactly.
So this was done on the plasma cutter.
Nice.
Yeah, so it says slag that I haven't removed yet, but yeah, it I'm telling you, once you go plasma, it's hard to go back to a regular laser. So yeah, it's fun. What's up, Chris Travis? See, you got a lot of people that I know. So
We run in the
um,
same circles, man.
yeah, I guess. And yeah, the circus is in town.
Yeah, that's right.
So but yeah, I dabble just in a lot of the interests. My channel is where I try to just explore my interests. Of course, you get stuck in the review rut like me and you get sometimes. It's like, it's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything for a while, and then something interesting comes by. It's like, well, okay, you know, like that 40 watt. So let's talk about that 40 watt for
Yeah, absolutely. But real quick, do you have a good recommendation for a camera that works good with X-Tool? I tend to recommend either Lightburn's camera setup or Kobe Smith's.
Yeah.
But do you have anything other than
No,
that?
I don't have a I use just my document camera here, and I just watch it from in the house. So if I have to step away, but I still suggest never stepping away
Oh no, I
because
don't think they're. I don't think they're talking about watching it. I think they're talking about having it like integrated through Lightburn.
oh okay, yeah. So there's one by Comgirl. It has a great height to it, but it's for non-enclosures.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard that a lot of people run into that, especially with like the actual enclosure and stuff like that. It's
mhm,
not tall enough. Like I think even actually the Comgrow one might be, but the Atom Stack one isn't tall enough. The metal one
mhm,
isn't tall enough to put a camera in. I've never had a camera in any laser that I've had,
yeah.
and so I just have gotten so used to it that I'm afraid that I kind of don't want to do it now.
Yeah, I have. We both reviewed the M1, right? So
Right.
it's got the camera on it. It works okay, but I don't think it's as good as something like someone's asking about the. I'm sure that's the Omtech. Is that the Polaris? I think it's called.
Oh
The
yeah,
new
yeah.
clip. Yeah. So or is that the big one? The freezer on its side one. Which 60 watt are you talking about? Well, yeah, because I think it is a 60 watt, that new one that's competing with Glowforge, or is it 50?
It's 60.
Okay.
I love how Xtool's coming out with the
Yeah.
55 watts CO2 laser. I'm like, so did you do that just to like mess with everybody's their power and speed?
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, but let's get into the 40 watt because that's what we kind of
Okay.
wanted to
Yeah.
talk
So the
about
40
tonight.
watt, it's a big module. I have it hanging on the wall back there. So all my diode lasers are, and like you have it hanging on, like I have slat wall all around my garage.
Right.
So I have them hanging up. And it's scary powerful, man. It really is. It could be very addictive to try to go very deep cuts at very slow speeds. And let me tell you, I wouldn't do it. I mean, in my video, it shows that it just you're really messing with some danger there. So
Well, they
it's
did. So we were talking before we started this up, and they had mentioned like I just did a short where I didn't even show flame. I just showed it starting to cut through a 2x4.
mm,
And they said, "Hey, listen, a lot of YouTubers have done the same task. Some of them have been successful, some of them haven't, but we're afraid that flames in the video are going to scare people from maybe wanting to buy it. And can you please edit the flames out?" And my response to them was, "No, this is a very scary unit that you have here." Now, I also have a table saw in
mm,
my garage, which has, an open spinning blade on it. So that's
yeah,
equally as scary. I'm not saying just don't buy it. I'm saying you need to know what you're getting yourself into.
yeah.
I
I mean,
see over and over people posting pictures on Xtool's um, official website, which a lot of times they take them down, which I think is idiotic. But people will post that something got hung up on their machine, caught on fire, and melted either the laser guard or the
mm,
laser or something. And you need to be aware of that. That's
Yeah,
why you need to watch your machine. That's why you don't walk out of the room when it's on.
yeah. People talk about diode lasers being dangerous. Of course, they're dangerous. Okay, you're going to tell a welder that's dangerous for them to be welding. You use proper precaution.
Yeah,
I have level 10 goggles for the plasma, and I have full headgear for my welder.
yeah,
Okay, every you're gonna go up, and that's the thing. It's like there's been videos about how dangerous they are. Yes, rightfully so, but you exercise precautions to mitigate those risks, right?
exactly.
So, and that's the thing is if you don't have people showing you what can happen, you kind of feel responsible in a way. I have precautions in all my laser videos that I'm not responsible. You're doing it at your own risk. Here are the precautions that I use. So
100%.
because I just don't want anyone to get hurt. Hey, tripod, when it gets warmer, I'm gonna stop by. Chris stopped by the garage. I gave him a printer. He stopped by a 3D printer. CO2 or diode, different materials.
I
Yeah,
gotta say, personally, CO2 all day long for me.
yeah,
The reason I say that is because to me, my CO2 is one. My CO2 is more powerful. So
yeah,
let's just get that out of the way. I'm not gonna lie about that. But it is to me, my CO2 is more easily repeatable. And I like with diodes, if you do one pass and you don't like the way it looks, you may or may not be able to get a second pass out of that. Whereas my CO2, like if I do one pass and I don't like it, I just run it again. Like everything's just a little bit more precise with CO2.
yeah. And also you're getting in different category usually with the CO2, the engineering behind it
Oh,
versus
absolutely.
open frame. I with the X tool, they their frames are solid.
Mhm.
And other companies are catching up to theirs. Like the
Yeah.
Etzer one, that's another solid framed machine. But one thing that was really shocking to me was when I opened up the 40-watt kit. Half my video is assembly, the other half is testing. It's a 20-minute video, and I'm spending 20 minutes doing it because there's no build guide on Xtool site.
Right.
And I was like, what's the problem is you have now a spare um X gantry, right, with a stepper motor. You have now a spare module, and now you have a spare board. It's like, okay, is there a way to I could get these recycled or
Yeah.
something?
At least you can put the 20, like at least you can put all the other modules back on.
Yes, yep. As long as you have the Pro, you can go from the 5-watt all the way to the infrared.
Right, and that was
But
my
you have
biggest
to have the Pro.
concern when they wanted me to do 20-watt because or the 40-watt because I'm like,
Hmm.
I still have a bunch of people that are asking me for 20-watt videos that I haven't made yet.
Yeah.
So I wanna make sure I don't wanna have to, and so swapping them out's pretty easy, and honestly, I'm probably not gonna leave that 40-watt on there all the time.
No,
It's just too much.
it's a lot of mass to move around. The 20-watt is a lot of mass to move around. When they were talking about the speeds, you can't achieve those speeds with that much mass moving. To answer your question really quick, can a fiber laser cut materials such as no,
No.
no, it's more of an etching machine.
Right.
Okay, it's not. So yeah, you can cut. Don't get me wrong. You can eventually cut through material, but it's not. It's a galvo laser is designed differently than a direct gantry laser is.
And it's the
So,
same thing with, like, even diode lasers, like, some people are like, "Well, can I cut through a half-inch piece of material?" And I'm like, normally, I would just say no, but then I get some asshole that's like, "I ran it 500 times and it cut through."
yeah. So
So, the thing is, when it just comes down to time. Is it time effective for you to cut through a half-inch piece of plywood with a 10-watt diode?
yeah,
No. It's just not. It's
don't.
not gonna be crisp, it's not gonna look good.
No, it's not. But the one thing though it did impress me is that, with when you're cutting with the laser, I was expecting to see little deform, like angles, but it was pretty darn straight. I was
Yeah, it
quite
is.
shocked. Yeah, so it's okay, but continue on. Yeah, the 20 is a great module in itself. The 40, it's like, okay, how much more efficient do you need to be with cranking out products if you're doing stuff like that, or just an enthusiast hobbyist that's not using it for a business?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, I mean,
we were talking about cameras, and it's like at some point, like the amount of megapixels that a camera can catch is imperceivable to the human eye. So unless you're taking like a picture that's going to be a billboard, does your does your iPhone camera need to have any more megapixels in it? You know what I mean? Does your smartphone need to take poster size images? And it's kind of the same thing, right? Like it's like at some point in time, your power isn't giving you it's saving you maybe some time, but you're also losing out on that laser dot. You know, the laser dot is what, like 0.08 by 0.15 now or something like that.
yeah, dogs are going a little nuts because someone's home. But yeah, it's usually the more powerful your laser is, the bigger the dot size is going
Right.
to be.
Let's see. Let me hold on. Let me run back to this one real quick. I just got goggles to go see it too. I'm getting just in case. Absolutely, you should have goggles. That's one of my biggest concerns about the 40 watt is it's a perceivable laser and it has a shield on it, but it's not enclosed unless you have an enclosure around it. And I have literally, like, I was sitting out here running it on the 2x4. I was sitting here on the computer while I was doing it. I was wearing my laser goggles, which have like side protection and everything. I There was something I couldn't read on the screen, so I lifted them up kind of with my hand like this so I could read it. And as I was putting them back down, I just kind of saw that out of the corner of my eye for a second, and I felt that later. Like it's, you know, looking at a 5 watt laser when it's running, after a while, like hurts your eyes. I don't know what the 40 watt is doing, but I'm getting too old to just like go blind immediately.
Yeah, I got some CE certified ones that I bought that when I switched to these and not using the ones that come with it, I noticed that my strain is
Yeah.
not nearly as
Oh
bad.
yeah. Well, what I've always said is when you put on the green ones they give you, you can still see the beam. I'm like, when I put on these, I can't see the beam anymore.
Hmm.
So that tells me that these are better than the green ones, right? If you can still see the beam, some of that light is coming through.
Yeah, it's people need to understand that ambient light is still in the room
Right.
and it could still cause some damage.
And my big concern is so a lot of times I run one without the shield on it, like especially like once it got to the 20 watt, it is so close to the material that it gets hung up if you're not careful. And I'm always really conscious about it, but every once in a while, my kids come running out here in the garage. And honestly, if I'm standing right here, the frame blocks my line of sight to it to a certain degree, but it doesn't block my kids. So, like, they come out, like, especially when I was running the 40 watt with nothing on it. And my son came running out here. I was like, get in the house. I'm like, we'll talk about this later, but you're not coming out here screwing around right now. Cause I'm more concerned about those guys motoring
Yeah,
around and like, catching that than anything else.
yeah, it's yeah, the laser shield does get in the way. That's why during this review, because mine melted, but you're right, it is so close, the focal length is so close because you also had the other height adjustment, sorry,
Right.
that they, yeah, it's literally, if your material is warped a little bit, it's scraping.
Yeah. And I've had that happen with just like 3 millimeter walnut and stuff like that. Like it just gets hot enough that that it, and like I've walked out of the room for a second and come back and my entire thing's jacked because it warped it just enough to where the laser caught it and is moving around with it. I'm not like on fire or anything, but I've ruined a project. So yeah, it's you know, they got some work to do. I'm not saying that they they can't figure this out. But I'm saying if you want to put a 40-watt diode in a machine and you're going to charge, what are they charging? Like $1,000 for just the laser head, right?
Yeah, for the whole kit, yes.
So you're looking at least 2 grand minimum if you wanted like a 40-watt diode with everything. You got to enclose that at that point. Okay, so wait a second. Do the old modules fit the new gantry? The so Mark, the if you have the D1 Pro, the old modules will fit the new gantry. If you have the D1, I don't believe they will.
Yeah, there's a different pin count between the D1 and the D1 Pro.
Right.
And the
Also,
D1 Pro with the 40 has additional 2 plugs on it.
right. Oh no, I think these.
On
I think you just
additional
mean
pins.
are they fitting on the
Yeah.
gantry?
Yeah, so the gantry, okay, so yeah, when you get the upgrade kit, it will fit on that beefier gantry. All those modules will basically from the 5-watt to the infrared will all fit on there.
Yeah. So
Because they,
I don't know if we actually said that. When you get the 40-watt module, it comes with a gantry swap as well.
yes.
So you actually take the old gantry off of your D1 Pro and you put a new gantry on there that's a little beefier. Also, shout out to Daniel. He just he said, "What's up?"
What do I do with it?
I don't know.
I mean, that's
All of my shit's sitting over there right now, and I'm like, I don't think that I will ever use this motherboard for anything. But I'm also like, I also hate like I'm one of those makers that hates to throw stuff away because as soon as I
yeah.
throw it away, I needed it for something.
I mean, it's a nice stepper motor, and you got another limit switch, optical switch on there. I mean, 2 of them. I mean, and it's a beefy. That's the Pro version, right? It's a
Yeah.
nice beefy frame. I mean, it went together really kind of easy. It was just it. The one thing that I didn't like about it is you're taking basically almost the whole thing apart and putting it back together again. So
I feel like you could have just taken like not the whole gantry, but but that piece, the red piece that it fits on. I feel like you could
yeah,
take that off and
I mean, it's
change that.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Take off your Z axis, right? Swap it out. I mean, it's got what 3 bolts on it. It felt, we're in a throwaway society, and it's really hard for me to throw something like this out when it's. I mean, does it have value to me? Absolutely, most likely not. Maybe the
Yeah.
stepper motor, but I mean that's if I believe it's the same stepper motor.
I would say the
But
stepper motor and the belt are
yeah,
probably the only things you could really save from that. But yeah, I have everything that I took off of that, aside from uh, the the stops.
yeah.
I threw the stops in the trash, but everything else is sitting right over there, and I'm like, again, I just have this pile of stuff that I don't know what I'm gonna do with.
I mean, I think don't read us wrong. It is a great product.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not telling anyone not to buy it.
No.
Absolutely not. It's just what to you're getting yourself into when you buy it. It's it's like you don't go out and be like, oh, I'm gonna buy the first car you see, right? You're gonna shop around. So it's like this is a real serious. I mean, it is a what we saw in the last year and a half from X Tool was a total evolution of the diode laser in power. I mean, they've been
Oh, yeah.
cranking out new product, which you know what? A lot of these other companies are now saying, "Oh my goodness, we got to catch up now," because they're literally leaving everyone in the dust. But eventually, you need to like start pivoting, say, "Okay, you know what? We're going to stay here at this 40-watt for a little while, and let's make some new products." I think they need to start doing something like that. They got the F1
I
coming
agree.
out. You know,
I
so
think you're really looking at, like, getting a little too big for your britches to a certain degree, in the
yeah,
sense that there's a reason that CO2s have to be enclosed,
mhm,
and that's because well, I mean, the main part is because you can't see the beam and you can blind yourself, but I feel like a 5-watt laser running in the corner and you not really wearing eye protection when you probably should be, you're probably getting a little bit of eye strain, a little bit of eye burn, no big deal. But like having a 40-watt running in the shop, while you're trying to do other things and you're not wearing eye protection, I think you're looking at maybe some, issue.
Well, and the thing is us as influencers, creators, right? We're filming this stuff. We're literally focusing even heavily on their filming,
Yes.
right? And so what I've been doing is I have two phones. I know that you just got another phone, basically to do TikTok and regular, right? So I put my other phone in there in the enclosure, and that's how I monitor it. And
Right.
that's how I film now. I just put it on, and I'm done. I'm trying not to even look at lasers anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because they still fascinates the hell out of me.
I know, right?
Watching material just vaporize.
They're mesmerizing to watch, even engraved though.
Yeah.
Like
I
just
mean,
watching it go around and do its thing. But I do the same thing. I have I think it's a security monitor. It's a blink camera. But I put that in there, and that's even like I used to use that if I wanted to go like if I'm Mr. Mom in it and I have to make sure the kids are okay and stuff like that, I can still have the camera, like I could still have my phone with the camera
yeah.
going and all that stuff. And I used to do it like that. But I've started putting that camera on there just when I'm in the shop. And just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I've got my phone sitting over here, like kind of running footage on it or whatever. I'm not even recording. I'm just making sure it's not destroying something.
No, so we're not trying to convince you not to buy it. Not at
Yeah,
all. This
absolutely
is
not.
just saying it is a lot of power. Take the correct precaution. As Chris Travis said, even driving a car is dangerous, right? He
Right.
said that earlier.
I will
And
say this. I will say this as well. They are. This is a 40-watt unit that you can buy to put on the X-Tool D1 Pro frame right now. If you buy it, I do not want to hear anybody bitching in a couple of months when they come out with a full 40-watt unit because they're gonna do it.
yeah,
If you want to get in while it's not a unit yet, pay the money. That's your thing, but don't bitch when they come out with a unit because they will come out with a unit.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, so they silently killed off the regular D1. If anyone noticed, it's kind of gone now. So they basically, and that's the
Amazon,
thing is with product life cycles that Creality doesn't understand. You
right?
need to kill it off. Sorry, that's a 3D printer company. If you, whoever is not 3D printers, they have a huge line of printers that's unsustainable for them to keep on producing. So
Right.
I think Xtool did the right thing and say we're going to phase it out. We got the Pro now, and we're doing accessories for that. But as long as they continue to support the regular D1, I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
So it's the evolution of a product. But I'm very impressed with the performance of that laser. Very impressed.
Oh, absolutely. No. It is crazy fantastic.
Yeah, no,
Like, don't
it
get me
is.
wrong. I don't know. I haven't done like I don't know if did you do engraving with it or did you just cut?
I did some engraving. I did a so here's my test side, right? So and then here's the good side. In my video, I can't tell you because they don't have a material chart. Okay,
Of
it's
course.
kind of hard to what your millimeters per second is and power to ratio.
I can imagine. Dude, like you're
Okay,
double
I'm
the
back.
20 watt.
Okay, I think we both reloaded for a second.
Oh, so I'm
Uh,
back. Are you back? You
am
were
I frozen?
you were frozen on my screen, but I can hear you.
Is chat
Oh no,
working?
there you are. You're good.
Is anything going?
I am totally good on this end.
We are frozen.
I am good. I think tripod is stuck. I'm good.
Hold on.
Okay. Uh John, I'm good, dude. But I like you're frozen to me. I'm assuming that everybody can hear me. Because somebody just asked if tripod has Dan's potato internet.
Am I back now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I still need to. I'm an IT manager full time, and I still haven't ran Ethernet into the garage. So
How
just to
dare
let you
you?
know. Yeah, I
How
know.
dare you,
I'm
sir?
bad. So Anyways, I to where
It's
I
because of
tried
the
to.
huge penis, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what it is.
Um, so it's getting your settings right because you're trying to convert 20 watt to 40 watt, and the math actually doesn't really work
Right.
out.
Yeah. It
And
doesn't just double or half,
no,
I guess.
yeah. So sometimes, like with cutting like 6 millimeters, I was able to do it at a 6 millimeter ply in one pass, and at 6 millimeters per second, 100% power. It worked out, doing 3 times the speed. So before it was 2 millimeters for the 20 watt for basswood. But other materials, not so much. Because I went back to the settings that I tried from like the 10 to the 20, now to the 40, and the 40 just didn't work out that way. So
So Tiny Apps, after having D1 Pro, um, they're looking at getting a 100-watt CO2. So my recommendation is always going to be for AP laser. Reason being is you guys asked me to find a laser company that was one based in the US and two had ridiculous customer service. So after I asked my laser folks, they were like AP Laser. So I contacted them. We have a relationship. So let me just put that out there. We do have a relationship, but the reason we have a relationship is because you guys asked me to find them. And they make a fantastic machine. Their customer service is like off the freaking chain, but they're not the cheapest guys in the business.
no, I didn't listen to my father very much, but he said, John, if you're gonna buy something, buy it right the first time, so you don't have to buy it again.
Yeah. And I just the fact that this thing's made out of steel, it's actually the majority of it's manufactured in Canada, but the company is based in the US. There was some sort of weird. I was talking to him at one point in time, and there was something weird where it was a little cheaper to do it across the border. So they're in Michigan, I believe, and the manufacturing plant is like right across the border. Um, their customer service is ridiculous. If you call them, they either answer the phone or they call you right back. Everybody that I've talked to there, um, like actually owns a unit and like knows what they're talking about. You don't ever talk to anybody that's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to run you through these 5 things. Um, I've been blown away with everything on the AP laser. If you want that for your business, you want to spend the money for your business. Now I don't like, and now I don't know if John has something like a different place he wants to recommend, which is totally fine.
I do Amtech, so it says like Rose right there was saying, I don't get you know what? Some people are different minded when it comes to where things, made in the USA, manufactured in the USA, assembled in the USA. You know what? It's nice to see all countries come together to manufacture things. You source parts where sometimes you can and only source them from. But I would rather buy something locally, than right down the street or offer business to someone in a mom and pop shop than a big company most of the time. So
Yeah,
that's just
same.
me, personal preference. Everyone has their own shopping, how they want to. And
Yeah,
like
it
I
might
said,
be
I
a
did a lot of testing on that 40 watts.
but that's the whole reason I say that they are not nice. Well, did you guys saw my charcoal, didn't you? I cut through a 2x4, but it looks like that. Everybody's like, "Oh, really slow Shishugibon," is what they keep saying.
You go to 2 millimeters per second, it's it gets hairy.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry, it does.
And I just didn't realize, honestly, even sitting out here, I did not realize how much flame was happening on the bottom of that when that cut was happening until it cut through and I pulled them apart and they were on fire. Like I didn't realize. Anyway, so yeah, like made in the USA is not necessarily my I get the maybe we don't want it to be made in China because we think it's cheap. I guess. I don't care that it's made in the USA, but I had a lot of people like want something that was made in the USA. So that's the only reason I bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Artroid that I have right there, the plasma, it's made in Canada, but it's assembled in China. Well, it's designed. So look at your iPhone, right? It's designed in the U.S. but manufactured elsewhere. That's the
Right.
Artroid, right? It's designed in Canada, manufactured in China. I mean, you got that label too. Designed here, built somewhere else, right? So, I mean, do your own shopping, but it's nice when you call someone local and they pick up the darn phone.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
I like.
absolutely. I mean, yeah,
That's where I say buy local. That's what I like about it.
the biggest issue that that people that contact me have with Xtool, and let me just again say, Xtool is not the worst one. I've dealt with other of these companies, and the thing is, they're in China. So when you want to call them at 8 o'clock in the morning, those guys are asleep. So you're never gonna have like real time customer support in that situation because they're on the other side of the planet, or not, I guess not the other side, but they're
Mhm.
not here. And I'm like, I understand that you're upset and that you can't talk to somebody right now, but you're not calling a company that's in the US, and you're not calling a company that has like a large enough presence where they have people that are going to answer at all times or hours of the day. So you need to
Yeah,
keep that in consideration. And, hey, like a lot of these like cheaper lasers, well, should I say cheaper now, Xtool, are manufactured someplace else. And if that's the case, then you have to deal with that.
yeah. So there's to harp on Creality a little bit. When they always want people to join their Facebook group right away. You know
Of
why?
course.
Because it's free support for them.
Yes.
Because everyone likes helping each other. I'm not against that at all. Okay, but the problem is then you start getting tagged a lot, and there's only so much time, especially if you're working. I work during the day, and I do all this other activity at night and on the weekends. So, I mean, you only have so much time in a day to answer questions, right? And then all of a sudden, now you become their personal support, right? And you're not getting paid to do it. The companies need to take responsibility for the products that they sell and provide the
Yeah.
support to it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So
Oh,
Mark
look, that
says,
was perfectly timed there. Double. There
nice.
you go.
So Mark says, I have a D1 Pro. I also have the IR. So would want the 20 watt and the IR module. Okay, so the IR module fits on the the new gantry. I
Okay,
know
so
that.
they make two. So they make I got so my review was the original D1 because they already gave the good people the pro version. So I got the D1 version. So that doesn't fit on the pro chassis.
Oh,
So
okay,
you got
okay.
to make sure that that you look at the pin count also. So when you order it, make sure you're ordering it for your pro,
Right.
or I don't think I think it's only available for the pro, that module.
Yeah, I
So
think so
because of
too.
the beefier chassis, the whole chassis is a little beefier, not just the gantry. So, um, but it was a bit, when because they didn't say it on the live stream that you had to do all that stuff. So when I opened it, I was really kind of like, I was like, man, this is gonna be a simple video before I opened it. And then I
Yeah.
opened it, I'm like, what the F? I'm like, oh my God.
When I got that box in the mail, I thought they sent me a whole laser
Same here.
because it was like it was so long, and I'm like, wow, their packaging has gotten really tight.
Mm,
And then I opened it up and I'm like, is that just the gantry? And then I was like, wait, what is this? And I pull out the motherboard. I'm like, I have to Mobo swap. Like that's honestly before I before I get into this, it wasn't that difficult. It was pretty easy. It was
yeah.
pretty self-explanatory. But I can't say that I wasn't a little intimidated when I opened that box and saw like a circuit board that I had to change out.
You
I mean, it was really easy. The pictures carried me through there. It was not that bad, but it was intimidating to look at.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that how much are you expecting your community here? I grew up building RC cars, right? And I loved assembly and disassembly, break fix, right? How many people are out there that are willing to do this type of swap out? It's like, wait a minute, the build itself could be intimidating for a regular D1 to a person. Then you do that, and like I said, on their live stream, they didn't say what the kit looked like. It was just the module, and that was it.
I gotta say,
like,
even the pro building the pro was still pretty straightforward for somebody that knows kind of what they're doing. And when I say somebody that knows what they're doing, I don't mean somebody that's smart. I mean somebody that has built a lot of things, and I've built a lot of things. Let me just clarify that. But it was pretty straightforward from that standpoint, but it was definitely a more complex build from the D1.
Yeah. It literally, you're taking the thing apart and putting it back together with more, right? Because you're doing the circuit board and you're taking out limit switches, replacing those, and the those two things on the sides, right, for the stops. So it's a little bit more detail than what I'm not trying to. I had the full build on there on my video. It's literally half the damn video, so I'm learning to condense.
I'm referring to your video because I didn't film it.
Yeah. If you want to see a boring video, watch Tripod's first 10 minutes. Yeah, it's
once you get to this point.
Yeah, then you can come back and watch the rest of mine because mine's gonna be a lot better. So,
what's up, Jerry?
Yeah, because I do enjoy there's a lot of camera shots using because I use my cell phone for everything because I don't have to worry about focus. Oh yeah, because I don't have to. It focuses so much faster than a SLR. I have an SLR. It drives me nuts the focusing on it. I have an ultrasonic lens too.
I started using the Sony XL1 L1X. It's like kind of a hybrid. It's more of a point and shoot, but it was made for kind of vlogging and whatnot. And that thing focuses so much better. And it's got a button to just
You got
what I do.
I know which camera you got. You got Jerry's camera. You got that from.
And I got it because I like the thing. I just don't know what I did now.
Wait, you squeezing something over there?
Is it? What's the backup command? Damn it,
Jerry! What's the backup command? Through the HP. What is it?
Jerry, what? How do I get out of here?
That's why I haven't gotten that camera yet.
You're just gonna get all this Nick right here, baby. I can't even remember what we're talking about.
Anyways, the camera, yeah. So that's why I went to cell phone because I was like, you know what? I was just so tired of the focusing nightmare, and I was like, you know what? And then I got I'm not the biggest Apple fans. I just got it because pull up the app. Thanks, Jerry.
Really, Jerry? You should know this. Can somebody please address the can someone get a pro gantry and retrofit it to a non-pro? I don't think you can, but you know who would probably hook you up is Daniel at Alive Pixel Creates. I'm pretty sure he could hook that up. Daniel.
So he's So I think actually what Jerry meant was pull up the app and just manually bounce it back.
I know, but I look up with instructions, and I don't want to do things.
So even though it just sounded really funny, so it's almost like look at the damn manual.
There it is. There it is. Okay, it just took me a minute to fucking remember.
So you have to do a loser for it to go backwards.
Yes. Well, I think if you're right-handed, it's okay.
Ah, okay.
See, the problem is like there's no stop in between. You got to go all the way in or all the way out, which is what she said. Whoa, hey now.
There you go. You playing hide the salami? What's going on over here?
All right. Jesus.
Yeah, so it's
So, Robert, no, your D1 is still a D1 and it does what D1 stuff does.
yes.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's the prices will come down, right? As more technology comes out, and if you feel like you want to upgrade, upgrade. Don't don't let the latest and greatest always push you there, right? It doesn't, the 20 watt is an amazing module that still will most likely do everything that you want your honestly, it's if you the only way that I think that you will need the 40 watt is if you're cranking out product and you need this the cycle time. But why not just get two D1s? I don't know.
Yes, yeah, AP Laser decides to spell their laser with a Z. I don't know. It's just it's a thing. All right, I'm sorry. We're so far back in the comments, or I'm so far back
No,
in the
let's
comments.
rock. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Let's go and blast through the comments
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Um,
chat gets you get caught up right in a stream and then
yeah. So Rose, I think John was talking about his uh Nap Neptune. What is it? The Max.
yeah, this is right here. What's printing is the LU Neptune 3 Max.
Yeah.
It's a really huge filament printer, FDM.
Yeah, so Jerry has this fancy camera that does this follow thing, and it was like, "Wow, that's really cool." And the problem is I talk with my hands a lot, and so what I do is I end up turning it off sometimes. And apparently if I do the loser symbol, it zooms in. Hello there. And and sometimes if I do the loser thing again, it doesn't go away. Get out of here.
It
Ah,
is pretty.
stop. God. Really trying hard not to curse. Okay, so if you talk with your hands, this camera like is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and when you talk with your hand, hands, you're a visual person. So I learned that a long time ago. I
So
don't know if it's still true
pretty much
today.
all of us, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so LOL app PC, turn it on and off. So
Oh, you're
this,
rolling back too.
and
Let's see.
basically, yeah, I was gonna say you could jump down to Jerry there. Um, yeah, I mean, so one thing I'm excited about is getting a CO2 is finally being able to do like plexiglass and the clear stuff and not
Right.
having to have a I call it interface layer is having something like I use tempera paint for glass. I will not have to worry about that with a CO2 because basically with the CO2 you're fracturing the glass, and that's actually what we're seeing is microscopic fractures with the CO2 laser.
Right.
So
That is nice. I just like my thing is after and I haven't run time tests on the 40 watt yet. Like I've literally just cut a 2x4 with it. But even the 20 watt became so much more of a production machine to me than the 10 watt because of the speeds it could produce. But if you get like if you have a 10-watt diode and you want to have a full-time business, 20-watt would maybe help you out, but in the end, you're gonna wind up with a big ass CO2 in your shop because the speed that you can cut things at and you can engrave things at is so much greater that when you're a hobbyist and you don't care, that's one thing. If you're trying to build a business, that's still one thing, right? Like you're only making like X amount of widgets at a time. But once your business scales so much that you can't make enough widgets in a time, you don't want to buy like another diode laser. You want to buy a CO2 that's going to be able to do it for you faster. The reason you don't want to buy CO2 in the beginning is because they're expensive, right? So like save your money, but if you're gonna end up in CO2 land at some point. I
Yeah, and
love that the marketing at Axtool was like, we want to have a conversation with you. We want to talk to you about if there's a 40-watt diode, why like would you still stick with CO2? And they ended up being sick, and there was no I never had that. Excuse me. I never had that conversation with them, but I'm like, yes, I would still go CO2 for clear reasons and speed reasons
mhm.
and safety
and
reasons.
well, and I was just going to say that you're going to have an enclosure, you're going to have ventilation system all out of the box, and you're going to typically have a more refined product. But those tubes, that is a consumable, but they do last up to like 10, not 10,000 hours or something. Not so the highest hours are still on like a fiber laser, and then it goes like CO2 and then die. So
Right.
because you are literally you have a many diodes for your, I mean, just like the 40 watt, but a lot of their settings still with like X Tool and all these other brands are still pushing it to that 100% power, which will still shorten the life some
Right.
faster. So
But see, I've addressed this before. The thing is, like, okay, does running it at 100% like shorten the lifespan of the laser? And my answer is yes, it does. But I have minted so much money out of what I've done so far that I don't mind buying another unit. It's just, hey, again, if you're going to be the hobby guy in the garage who's going to make the occasional thing, one, it still doesn't matter because you're never going to hit those hours.
yeah,
But to me, I'm like, that is an expensive business at that point, because before that thing runs out, you're gonna see like a slowdown in speed, a slowdown in power. A new unit's just gonna be like, oh, Christmas at that point.
prices starting from I don't like bothering people just for a quote, and if I'm just kicking them the tires.
So, Mark, email me and I will tell you where to go to see prices. Nick at build.com. By the way, let me throw you up there, brother, because I've not yet. This is John's or his YouTube channel. Do you have anything else you want me to throw up there, brother?
Oh no, I'm good, man. I'm good. I
Okay.
appreciate just inviting a good talk, man. I'm you know what? I'm just chill. So I just post what I want to post, and someone so one thing that irritated me was like, everyone critiques people, right? And it's like you're slow rolling at the beginning, you're gonna lose people. I'm like, I edit my own videos. This guy didn't, and he was just another content creator. I'm like,
Mhm.
anyways,
Screw
that's just
that,
a
man.
point.
Do your
Yeah.
thing. That's
Yep. Also, CO2 will let you cut almost all acrylics, and that's one thing that I'm telling you is it cuts it like flipping butter, man.
no, right? If you want to, like, yeah, if you guys want to get into if you guys want to get into acrylic at all, CO2.
Yeah, and then
And
you don't have to worry
honestly,
about
like,
colored crap. You go clear because clear, you know what? Clear sells, not the colored stuff. I'm sorry, it's true. The
no.
clear, there's something about the clear stuff, man.
And the thing is, like, I still love. Okay, so AP laser a lot of times will show. They have like these cool cutout things that are uh they're 3/4 inch. They might be an inch, like clear acrylic,
Hmm.
and the way it does the edge of the cut, they call it uh
Laser drag.
no, they call it like flame polished or whatever. But
Oh, oh yeah. It
It
like it
looks
literally like smooths it
amazing.
out. Yeah, it is. I'm telling
It's
you, it when you first cut acrylic, it's I could watch it for a while and it's like, oh, okay, I got my fix in because I've been wanting to do that forever. I can't wait to get my CO2.
yeah,
So
I was up doing like a bit with AP Laser, and they have just it looks kind of like a trophy, but it's just the AP, their symbol, their logo, and then it says AP Laser underneath. But I think it's like 3/4 inch. It might be an inch acrylic. Um, but the cut on the edge is so clean. It's amazing, and they're like, "Oh, yeah." They're like, "Make sure to mention the flame polished." And I'm like, "I don't know if
yeah,
that's flame polished, but it does look amazing."
yeah. What's the next one we got here?
Let's see. Okay, well, you were talking about this, right? Like,
Yeah, so I will be reviewing that laser coming up. I got a notification that it was just shipped, but it's freight, so it becomes in a crate, just like my fiber lasers did.
sweet.
So it's and you also don't let the shipper leave until it's inspected. I'm sure you did that, Nick, with yours, right? When it was dropped off, you need to inspect
Yeah,
the box
so,
and
yeah,
everything.
a lot of like, what a lot of people don't realize is when something ships out of, like, another country, especially China, it can sometimes, like, it can ship and it can go to customs, and it can be in customs for a day, and then it can go out on a boat and come over here. Or it can ship, it can go to customs, and it'll be in customs for a month and then come over here. And the people that are shipping that don't have any like control over that. So when like when people get upset about that, I'm like, that's just the way shipping works. Like, I've ordered shoes that have done that, like
Oh,
I've
I've had boxes that were open. I had one box that was torn open because customs wanted to see the inside of it.
yeah.
So and I'm like, I've had three of those products, but I'm saying with the case. So yeah, I'll be reviewing that. It it's probably like a month and a half out because it's going to be a really big review because it's a lot to go over and trying to condense it into a 15 or less minute video, right? Unless you do a series, which most people don't tune in for a series. So unless it's like rebuilding a car or something. I'm
Right.
sorry to say it, but we're not car builders. I'd love to be. I'd love to go to Copart and buy a car and just rebuild it.
So that
Yeah, so
laser,
I'll
that
be,
can make
and
you
that laser is very comparable to actually it's like half the price, but I'll be reviewing that.
yep.
So
Yep, you'll hear about it. All right, we got let's see. Has anyone has it, have not seen anyone state they've lost any life running diodes. So that used to be a thing. I don't think it's a thing anymore. Um, when the Ortura Laser Master 2 came out, even before the Pro, people used to say, "Don't run your laser at 100%, or you would lose time." Now, maybe it was the diode in that particular machine
yeah,
or what, but since then, people have kind of stepped back and said that's not really the thing.
yeah. So let me build on top of that a little bit. So what's worse, running at 100% power and getting and saving some time, or running it at 80% power and running it longer?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the kind of way I kind of look at it now.
Well, the thing is, like, you have to look at your laser head unit, whether you like it or not, as a consumable. Even if
Mhm.
it's like, even if you're talking about a fire, or like a CO2 or a fiber, like the tube in a CO2 is a consumable. Eventually, you're going to have to replace that.
Mhm.
Um, I think the thing people get hung up on is like, well, it seems like it should last forever. And I'm like, well, I would love the blade on my table saw to last forever, but it doesn't. I replace my table saw blade more often, but they're cheaper,
Yeah. Yeah, so when you're going to
So
fiber laser, you're talking about the fiber source, which
I
is like
know,
a
right?
JPT or something. You're talking that's the majority of the cost of the machine.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah. Especially like, yeah, your MOPA or something like that.
and
Shit.
that's why I have a 100-watt MOPA sitting back there. So I can, I'm pretty soon I'm gonna need to cut down on the reviews because I want to get into that stuff. I want to get into my crafting and hey, what can I make? What can you make profits off of? What can you make with products? All right, what's next? Who's next? Who's next?
I'm gonna give you that one, and I'm gonna
I'm
run
only
inside real
one
quick, and
that
I'll be right back.
thinks that it sucks that. Okay, I am the only one that thinks it sucks that you can't do a preview on a material option on a LMAG R. Help me out on that one, Jeff. I'm trying to understand what you are asking about. Am I the only one that thinks it sucks that you can do a preview on material option on a LMAG R? Hmm. So I don't know. Maybe Nick will have to help me on that one. I'm kind of lost of what the question
What to do?
is. So I'm a little confused. I used preview. Oh, preview on the material on the site. Okay, yeah. So
Oh
okay.
wait, so are you trying to preview like you would with like a fiber?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a preview. Yeah. Fiber lasers do a great preview.
Yeah, but that's
Um.
the only thing that does a preview
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a. Yeah, and you know what? Like that was like the that's Atzer one. That was my biggest gripe that I couldn't see through that darn reflective front panel to
You know
see what
what?
my laser dot was.
Hold on. I apparently my camera got mad. Rich, Louisiana hobby guy, was like, "You can take that off,"
Yeah.
and I took it off. I love it so much more now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got their 36-watt module right here. I had a
Really?
problem. Yeah. So that was going to be my next upgrade, but I think I got a prototype board and the upgrade didn't work with it. So I
Oh,
powered on and it didn't interface with the new wiring harness because basically they're picking it back on two 12 volts to power up the
oh,
unit.
got it.
So, and that's basically the only difference of the wiring harness is they're piggybacking on that. Two 12 volts on the board. Who's next?
Where did I? Okay, hold on. How do you make money? People spam photo slate coasters on tiles. I talk about how to make money with your laser all the time. Uh, I think what people get hung up on is they don't know how to market because you can make money. These lasers print money. I don't know if you guys know, but they print money.
They do.
They literally print money. Your material costs are low. Your time to make something is low. They make money. So it's not a matter of what you need to make money. It's how you market yourself and get yourself out there to get people buying your shit.
Yeah, and
And
something unique. Don't
right.
be, don't, like, I kind of made this up on the fly on my video, right? I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, so these come out, right? So I was like, I said, okay, it said on their live stream, it could cut 0.1 millimeter. Okay, now I have two of them. What am I gonna make with it? So I just glued it together and took a, I mean, it's something, right? Be unique with what, offer something that be the first one out there with it, right? And then market it, just like what Nick said.
And niche.
Yep.
So here's the deal. This is what I think a lot of people get like hung up on when I say niche is you don't necessarily
Sorry.
no problem. What you niche on doesn't necessarily have to be what you're into. Okay. So let's say you're a big Harley guy, right? Niching to Harley would be great. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but let's say that like, and I'm spitballing, but let's say that your wife is really into wine, and your wife has a huge like friend base or Facebook group buddies or whatever that are all into wine too. Leaning into a wine niche to cater to those people is not a bad thing. Everybody wants to niche into the thing that they really care about. And ideally, that's the thing, right? But that doesn't necessarily have to like also read your audience, pay attention to what's going on. I make a lot of like horror movie keychains that do really well. Yes, I'm a horror guy. I'm not a keychain guy, right? But the keychain started doing really well. So I leaned into that and I just started making more of them. You
Yeah,
just
and
need
so
to
like when I was testing the IR module, a guy reached out to me. He said that he had it too, and he couldn't. It's like, have you tried doing a PMAG? Anyone that knows what a PMAG is, it's for basically like an AR-15, right? It's the magazine. It goes like, I have one now. I have a pew pew, but I didn't have one before, right? I had no interest in doing it, but it was a challenge. And you know what? That market is huge. You may not be into any of that, and I'm not telling that you have to, but going on what Nick said, just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you can't fulfill something that someone else does. That's a
right.
huge market, and that's something that the fiber laser does very, very well, is engrave metals and plastics like that. It's amazing. And that market is absolutely huge.
So look at the market too. One of the things, and I'll tell you guys this because I may or may not do it, but um, there's a market right now for acrylic jewelry,
Mhm.
in crazy colors and whatnot for like the like raver crowd, right? I don't know anything about the raver crowd. Okay, I don't. I know what raves are. I know what. Well, and I know what raves are, right? Um, but I know that there's a huge market for that kind of jewelry. It's super easy to make. Buying like you can buy the clasps for earrings and necklaces and stuff. And first of all, nobody could like here's the beauty of it. Nobody gives a shit about the quality of the jewelry, like the metal part, right? They want it to look cool. So you can buy like cheap earring clasps and things like that. Like, don't buy so cheap that they're going to turn your ears green, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to spend the money on the metal, right? Um, there's a huge market for it. Go look at Etsy. Go look up like gamer girl earrings or raver girl earrings or something like that. It's huge and it's not tapped at all.
Yeah, I
You wanna
mean,
make
so
money? You wanna pay off your fucking laser? Make that.
yeah, so your Hannah's asking about, both of us have rotary videos out. So there's not much of a difference between using the XCS and Lightburn when it comes to rotary. Actually, XCS can be a little bit simple, but the thing is, this market is flooded. I'm telling you, the Tumblr market. I mean, unless you could get like a, you know, it's like you go on Etsy, they're all over the place, right? And unless you have like my daughter, she does her own little craft fairs and stuff, and you need to get well known for that stuff. But yeah, the XTS, you got an RA2 video, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So just
Um,
look at Nick's channel. His is really good.
yeah,
Shit,
I would
you know
say
what?
so.
I see advertisements for his video in like the RA2 Pro. You know, when I'm like surfing on YouTube and I get the advertisement, hey, there's Nick.
I
So
don't think I don't think I've done a rotary video with the XCS software, which is what she's
yeah,
asking.
yeah,
Um,
it's very simple. I have a part of it in mind too, but it's simple. It really is.
yeah. So basically, like for you guys that are asking for these kinds of videos, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna like go through my back catalog of Xtool D1 videos, and I'm gonna make all those videos again for the 20 watt, not the 40 watt yet, but the 20 watt. Because people keep asking me, like, I keep seeing a lot of the videos that I made with the 10 watt, and they're like, what are the settings on 20 watt? I'm like, I've never done this on the 20 watt.
Yeah.
So we'll do it together.
Yeah. So I had a problem with mirroring. Like I said, so I always mess up a tumbler every time when I first do a laser review. Every darn time I mess up a tumbler. And this time it was, I said, this is my selfie one and regular. So I was like,
Nice. I always like, so to me, it doesn't matter if it's Xtool software or if it's Lightburn software. I don't know what it is, but you always get that reverse
every
sometimes.
time.
And it's like not necessarily repeatable. I always say to tape the front of your tumbler and run it once. And hopefully you get that backwards one when you run it. You know what I mean?
Every time. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So I did my first one, I did a tape of, and it was perfect. And then I'm like, okay. And I went back into the software, ran it, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And
And
um,
I don't know. Like, and the sad thing is, like, what I hate is when somebody runs a tumbler and it's clean,
mhm.
they run the next tumbler and it goes backwards. And I'm like, there's gotta be like the minutest piece of code someplace that like flips.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
I
what
did it
that
in
is.
both. I did it in Lightburn and XTS.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, are you
Oh
kidding
no,
me? Because
it's 100% not software specific. I
I'm
hear
thinking it
it
might be
I
on the
hear it
control
all day
board.
long with both.
Yeah. What's the next question? Let's see if we can blaze through these real quick.
Let's see. I can preview it on Imager on the offline version. You should be able to. Somebody messaged me recently, and I don't know if this is a new thing, but they're like, Imager is $40 a month. Why didn't you tell people? And I'm like, I checked. I'm like, Imager's still free. There's a paid version, but that paid version does not have like everything I've ever taught anybody how to do on Imager. I've taught them to do in the free stuff. And the paid version is still only $10 a month. So I don't know where they got their information.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. What's the next one?
Who's
Oh,
drinking? Who's drinking out of a mug?
no,
Is that you?
it's you. I got my own water right here. No, you were
Oh,
drinking out of a mug earlier. I saw
what?
it.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yep.
water. I gotta hydrate, brother. Gotta
Yep.
hydrate.
Let's see what's next.
I don't know. Y'all look crazy. Here you go.
Oh, so Chris came by. Um, he's a fellow pew pew guy, and he gave me some blanks to engrave. So don't ever try what these have no charge in them. They're blanks, complete. It's just so it gave me an idea to do it. I still have the idea, but I had to do it in the correct video with I'll probably do it with the com marker and not the OMTech because the OMTech I want to do some other type of videos with it, more like educational stuff. That one is going to be the fun one to mark to play around.
So, couple things. One, whenever you guys ask us to do pew pew stuff, that's immediately demonetizable
Hmm.
by
That's what
YouTube.
I'm talking about.
So it may happen, but it's not going to happen a lot because at the end of the day, we need to make some money from these videos.
Yeah, because let me see if I have it on my phone here. So that was like a pew pew thing right there.
Mm,
So that was on the IR. I
right.
kind of snuck that in my video. I'm like, oh, let's do a feedback. Feedback. Here. Okay. Sort of all the way in the back in the thumbnail, all the way in the back corner. So,
They still get it?
no, it's
Okay.
fine. It's because I didn't show it. I just showed it's basically like a piece of plastic. I didn't say anything what it was attached to or anything. So
But let's see. So do you think, just out of curiosity, do you think that the laser, whatever laser you're using, would be uh like would create enough heat to fire that
oh,
bullet?
absolutely for that. That's why these
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Just curious.
So what here I'll show you. So he gave them to me. I'll show you. There's no load or cartridge in the back, right? So it's blank. It's a blank.
Right. Okay.
So that's why it's like you gotta make sure it's a dummy round, basically.
So
So
so wait, is it a totally dummy round, or would you
yeah,
just,
so there's no charge in it. So
but
there's be a charge.
would you engrave the cartridge and then load it?
Yeah,
Or
no,
could
you would
you?
just leave it blank. It's just for fun. You throw it like a keychain, right? You drill a hole through it. There's no powder in
Right,
it.
right, right.
There's no charge.
But let's
You
say I wanted to like make Build Dad build bullets.
yeah,
Would I just engrave the cartridge first
yeah,
and then put all
yes,
the
and then you put
bang
it all
bang
together.
stuff in?
But yeah, but you want so you could wind up getting a jam. So it's more of a decorative thing
Okay.
because it's very I forget what you call it. Chris could probably help me. Is it a smokestack or something where it comes out of the top and it
Right.
doesn't eject all the time, all the way? So there's a reason why that reloads. And if you buy a reload, sometimes there's a failure. So
All right. Just
videos would be great. Thank you. Nice. All right. Yeah. So that's why there's no charge in here and there's no power. So it's you'll see people that have keychains of just like that. They just drill a hole through it and put a keyring on it.
Well, I was trying to, what I thought would be cool is like, you remember the old school double-sided like razor blades?
Yeah. Yeah. The classics.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought it'd be cool to get some of those and like engrave them and make them uh, necklaces.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
The problem is I can find that like legit blade
They're expensive.
that I can engrave, but I'm like, that's like a sharp ass blade that
Oh,
like goes on
they're
the back. I can't
so
find any dull ones.
so Jack. This is one up the comment. So this was basically a challenge coin. This was my first one ever on the MOPA. And then I'm still working on this new design. So it's Tripod's Garage, right? That's the front of it. Still trying to work on the settings, but then the back is my dog Bear, and it's the rear end.
But
So
can we get give us a little bit more of like, you're close. Like, give us a little bit more of like how much, like how deep that is.
okay, so that's really you could feel it. Okay, this was not as many passes. So that was only like 10 passes, not even 100, not even close to 100% power because I'm still experimenting with it. It's the Com Marker 20 was easier for me
Right.
because first off, it's a traditional laser source, it's not the MOPA. MOPA is you have a higher frequency range basically. Okay, that's basically the difference. But it's when you fire that thing, it's a lot of power. So so doing with this 100 watt. So there will be videos coming out. I just want to kind of like start out like, okay, here's how I created the test grid and give that file out for free. Basically, because you want to sample your materials first. And I always say that with everything.
Oh yeah.
Wood is one of the most difficult things to cut and do because you're fighting the grain. People are like to show a picture of it. You're fighting the grain all the time. So even people don't understand that your stainless steel is still an alloy. It's a mixture of metals. So it could be a different behavior with that too. So when you get a batch, chances are that one batch, there could be that at midpoint, you may start getting into another batch, right? So the behavior when people say, "Oh, what are your settings?" This is what I can start you out with, but you're gonna need to tweak them. So
I'll give you these settings, but
yeah. So that's challenge coin. Yes, I want. Yeah, so that's I got that design for my challenge coin, the Tripods Garage one. I kind of bought some files off Etsy and with borders, and that's how I got this one. Stay away from get your own designs because companies are really starting to crack down on like copyright infringements, like with Disney. They're going after Etsy people hard. And now I have feeling they're going to start going after the 3D printing
that was
community
crazy.
with that girl.
I know I'm talking about like that
Oh,
whole like slew of people that were
mhm.
like just banged on.
Well, I think about the 3D printing community that does like the cosplay stuff, but they're not really. Some of them are not selling it; they just make it for themselves. But the people that are profiting off of these, so Disney, you got people making M&M characters and stuff. Be on the lookout. Try to create your own content.
Yeah,
I'm just
be
throwing it
careful.
out.
Don't do like
Yeah.
like make it your own. But I think we've been on for like an hour and a half, man.
Yeah.
So like John, do you like rap anything you want to rap, brother? Like
Rap. I'm not a singer. I'm definitely not. I listen to more of like 80s stuff.
rap.
Let me sit up here.
Um,
Well, this is my garage. Like I said, it looks pretty bad, but it's almost 90% done. It's been a 3-year in progress. Again, I do. My name is Tripod's Garage. My name is John.
huge penis.
What's that?
Huge penis.
Yes. They get confused with the amputated leg with it all the time. So I I do reviews, but I want to try to pivot away and still do my own unique content because that's what the whole thing was about. Was like one-legged guy doing stuff to inspire people to get off their asses and do things on their own. If one-legged guy can do it, you should be able to do it too. So it's a fun thing. I basically will have all the equipment that I want and need to be able to have a complete workflow. And I suggest you go out there and challenge yourself, like I have and Nick has, because we didn't learn these things overnight. There's communities out there that will help you. We will try to help as long as we can, but we also have our own content that we have to put out per. When we sign up to do reviews, typically there's things to do in those. Not usually we have creative freedom, but they expect things out in a timely manner most of the time. So we have to adhere to those schedules as well as our own with our own personal lives. So if you have suggestions, throw it Nick's way, and maybe there'll be a future collab between myself and Nick later on. So
Yeah, once Chicago gets warm, maybe I'll
oh, that's brutally ass cold here, man.
All right, guys. So thanks for coming out. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more like kind of collab like interview type situations on the channel. I can do that. I just don't like I got to know what you guys want. And I'm whooped. I gotta say I'm whooped. It's time to it's time to go sit on the couch and watch some tube kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with I'm burned out with this printer, even though it's been fun. Oh, here. So you want to see how big of a print this thing makes, man?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
Wow. Oh, so that thing opens.
yeah.
All right.
It's a clock
So,
spring design.
one, if you want to see like that kind of shit, go watch John's channel
Well, that's gonna be in the next review. But yeah, it's
because I don't do that. Maybe I will later. I don't know.
yeah,
But guys, I'm tired. I
me too.
appreciate you guys coming out. Have a good night, and thank you, John, for like coming out and telling us your
Absolutely,
thing, man.
my thing.
Your thing.
All right,
Night.
pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.